G'day, this is not the sermon. I just want to talk with us as a church for a minute or two just about where we're at and what's happening with the easing of COVID restrictions. First of all, we've got great reasons to say thank you to God, haven't we? Just looking at the way our country has fared, overall very small numbers of people have died through this. We've had great control of the disease, and aside from some pretty catastrophic outbreaks through the Ruby Princess and other things, we've been in pretty good shape. Of course, it's having a massive impact on our society overall with all of the shutdowns, people losing their jobs. Economic costs are really quite massive, aren't they? But we thank the government for taking initiative, for actually providing leadership, and we want to continue to pray for our governments. 1 Timothy chapter 2 encourages us to keep praying for our leaders. They need our prayers, and so I urge you to keep praying for them at every level, the federal government, the state governments, but also local leadership, praying for principals of schools, praying for community leaders and councils, people who make decisions about sporting organisations, surf clubs, and so on. So there's a lot of need, I think, for us to continue to be alert, to be thanking God, but also to be asking God for His continued help to manage this process. I want to think a little bit with us about where we're at with church and what we are going to be allowed to do in the steps ahead. During the week, the government rolled out a 3-step process, which is pretty comprehensive. The timeframes on that are not clear at this stage, and they could change depending on how things go. But we are basically in the first step. So there are changes already. We are now able to catch up with more people. We're able to go outside for more reasons. And the releasing of some of these restrictions, being able to go outside of our home for a range of reasons, being able to have up to 5 people, whether they're adults or children, come to our home, means I think it's a period for us to be thinking about how we can encourage each other a bit more. It might be that there are people in our church, first of all, people who have been doing it pretty tough, who benefit from a little bit of encouragement, some support, maybe some parents who'd appreciate some babysitting, getting a little bit of time on their own. Perhaps it would be an encouragement just to be able to get out and spend some time with some other people, some other kind of adult connections for adults, having a picnic, going to the beach, having a barbecue together, and so on. Let me encourage you to think about ways that you can begin to connect and prayerfully think about who you might be able to encourage. Now, one way to think about this is that there are a number of people who, for various reasons, we've just not seen over this period of lockdown. Some people find the internet too difficult. Some have just found it too tough at home, managing kids and homeschooling and everything else that's gone with it. There are some people who perhaps have been relatively new to church and haven't felt like they've connected sufficiently to feel like they want to open up on a Zoom context. Well, maybe now's the time to be reaching out. Get on the phone, pop around, invite people over, and so on. First thing, to be encouraging. Second thing that I want to talk about is our small groups, our SALT groups. We meet for prayer and Bible study and discussion and encouragement. And we've heard that we're now able to have religious gatherings of up to 10 people. Now, our SALT groups qualify as religious gatherings, so you can bypass the how many people you can invite to your house. If you're a single person, for a religious gathering, you could have 9 other people come to the place. And so we want to encourage our groups to think about meeting again, meeting face-to-face, meeting in the same place, but to do that wisely and to do that carefully. Remember the 4 square metre restriction still applies, so we need to have the space to be able to meet. And just to put a sharp picture on that, if you want to have 10 people, you've got to have 40 square metres to be able to have them, and not too many of us have got rooms like that, though some of us do. If you're going to be meeting together in Bible study, you still need to have suitable social distancing. Now, a couple could sit together on a couch if they're married and so on from the same family, but we need to be able to spread out. So think about that. Also, think about the fact that by meeting on Zoom, some people have had access to being able to meet together who've previously found that really difficult. So we've got people who are able to Zoom in to Bible study from other parts of Australia. Who knows, maybe even overseas. Perhaps we can have a bit of a hybrid strategy going forward, where some people are able to connect via Zoom while other people are face to face. I've even heard of groups that are considering getting half the group to meet in one house and have their cameras on, and half the group to meet in another house. So there's a bit of connection with the whole group, but they're also spending some time in their different homes, sharing together and praying for each other. And something you can't do over Zoom, maybe having something to drink, something to eat together. So be thinking about that. Please talk with me if you're wanting ideas and encouragement for your small groups. The third thing that I want to raise is about gathering together again as church. Now, at this stage, we don't know when stage 3 or step 3 will be brought into effect, but at this point, there are no plans for gatherings of more than 100 people. Now, whilst that's not a big issue for a church like Salt, where we would rarely, even with adults and children, go over the 100 mark, it is a big issue for other churches. So please be prayerful. In our fellowship, we have an average church size across the FIEC in Australia of over 200 people in the churches, every church on average. So that massive implications, going to be some big changes. But for us, we need to think about what we'll do. Are we able to get back into the school? When will the education department decide that it's appropriate to have external groups going in and using their facilities? Will they decide that they're able to do that again? We've had conversations with the Fresh Hope people. That's the new name for the Churches of Christ. And of course, you know that we're enjoying great relationship together with people from the Bonnie Hills Community Church. But in conversations with the denominational leaders and the possibility of using the facilities together, we've found that there's probably not going to be anything happening in the near future. They've got some overall constraints and they're not opening up their building for meetings at this stage and for the foreseeable future for this year. So please be praying that God will provide for us to be able to gather together, to meet. We want to be able to express our fellowship together, our real unity in Christ in physical ways with each other. But until then, we thank God that we can connect like this and we can take small steps to encourage each other a little bit more personally, a little bit more face to face, and a little bit more practically perhaps. Thank you.